Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Hope you're all well.
Good morning.
We're just getting a good chuckle at all the emojis flying about, the pig and the chicken.
Couple new ones today.
Feathered.
Feathered.
A wee feathered one.
Do people actually say that in Scotland, or is that just a you thing?
I think that might just be a wee one.
Feathered it in there.
Pig and the chicken.
Whoa! My sound is on.
There we go.
There we are. All right.
Yeah, so hope everyone is well. Good couple of days. Hope you all enjoyed hope you've all seen the attempt at the hole-in-one or the hole-out.
Yep. I would imagine most people have seen it by now.
Most of the hardcore will have seen it. That was a lot of fun. Even my dear mother phoned me to talk to me about that one this morning.
That's hilarious. My mother didn't phone me to talk about that.
It's funny. So it was good. And yesterday you guys seemed to enjoy the T-height one. Got a little series. I think we can expand on that. Get some ideas for Matty Boy today, in which we can do some other ideas on that line of different strategic things on the golf course that can help you guys play a little bit better, and maybe unearthing some facts about why in situations you tend to struggle when a tee is involved. So
absolutely,
we'll get into a little bit about that.
Good. Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think? Shall we?
Let's dive in there. Let's dive in. Do you want to start at the kind of top-ish, and I'll...
Yes. I was hoping this will maybe move today.
Oh, be nice.
If you're watching and you are not a subscriber, now's the time. There's never been a time like now.
Yep.
Yeah, you stay on the current, and I will stay in the past.
Okay, let me jump in. John K is asking, Ian, can you recommend any fitters in Ireland? Derek Murray at 4 Golf. Derek is just outside Dublin, I believe, maybe 40 minutes outside Dublin. He would be, I guess when you guys are asking any fitters that we would recommend, I guess what you're asking is there something, similar where you can try some shafts and stuff? He would be the kind of closest, I believe, to what we have. He and his father, I believe, run the business, and I think they are very well regarded over there.
What part of Ireland was that?
It would be southern, or just around the kind of Dublin area.
Dublin area?
Yeah.
Okay. From Elliot. Elliot loves his G410 Plus driver. Says he does spin it up a bit and lose some distance.
Yeah.
So he's basically asking, how does the LST compare in spin, and is it similar enough in forgiveness?
Yeah, I think, relative to the other drivers in the marketplace, I think you find the LSTs right up there, if not better than, it would probably be top 2 or 3
easily
in terms of most forgiving. Spin wise, it's probably about a 500 RPM reduction.
Yeah, that's fair to say.
Somewhere in there.
Yeah,
if that sounds like a window that would take you from 2800 to 32 down to 23 to 25, somewhere in that window, that would be a good one.
Lovely.
All right, let me grab one here.
Sure. Guys are still enjoying the Discord server for the members, which is great.
Lots of chat about Discord, and
it's getting busy. It's good.
Is it really?
Tons of people in there. Yep, it's growing every day.
That was our problem always with Patreon, is that we never found there was interaction.
It was very tough to get that nice community feel where everyone was on it all the time, and it's only been 3 days, but I'm already seeing.
It's brilliant.
We got lots of interaction on there. So,
Dennis, welcome.
Oh, Dennis,
welcome.
let me get that.
Oh, sorry, Kyle Dennis.
Is that right? Right there he is.
Yeah, join the silver. Brilliant.
Allow me to give you the sound. For you.
Bandit saying Discord is superb,
Good.
and Joe's saying
too.
the same thing, which is great to see.
Lovely.
Love
to hear
dive
that.
in here. Scott, what are your thoughts on steel shafts and driving irons? Scott plays his iron half short and struggling to make it D4. I definitely don't have a problem with it, Scott. Obviously trying to kind of pick and choose which one would go in there is the key. I mean, if you can ever try and source I think Scott, you've got a fair bit of speed and that sort of thing. So even something like a Dynamic Gold used to make a super light shaft, and even like a Dynamic Gold super light X100 would be about 110 grams. That'd be a really nice one. It's kind of what Modus is in a sense. Ghost. It's a Modus 105. with obviously the graphite wrapped around it. Again, that's maybe a good option for you as well.
Love it. All right.
Well, I just want to address something here.
Yes.
Lots of people asking if I'm going to attempt the hole out challenge, hole in one. Absolutely not. Why would you've done it?
I know, it's kind of fit. It would be not the most fun.
Like, the only reason, to be honest, I'd done the Big Al one was because we didn't win it. Like,
True.
You've won the challenge. Like, for me, that's like, you own that challenge.
It's over. Well, the next challenge we do, you're definitely up first.
Yeah, like I'll give another one a run, but you have, as I said something the other day, like, Matty's immortalized that. Like, that's yours.
I'm still not really over the fact that actually happened. Like, when you think about I don't know. I don't consider myself a lucky person, but the timing of that, we had 30 minutes to make it happen, and it just happened. Like, I haven't been that satisfied by something in a long time. It's so fun.
That is why we lost our
minds.
And
Honestly.
went nuts.
So true.
So fun.
Okay, I'm going to get this one from Adam here.
Go for it.
Adam is asking, butt diameter increase on X-Flex shafts. Can you elaborate on this and how it might relate to Project X Hazardous Yellow 6.5? Mm-hmm. So butt diameters can change with Flex?
So basically,
I didn't know that.
As we talk about sometimes with shafts, when people talk about tipping, and how tipping affects a shaft, and we always say that tipping is taking away the flexible part,
yes,
and exposing more of the stiff part, and the stiff part is the widest part. So as that shaft tapers up, it's obviously getting stiffer.
Yep.
So when it comes to butt diameter, it's one way for manufacturers to make the shaft very butt stiff. Mm-hmm. So by making that an oversized butt diameter, they can then save a little bit of money on materials because you don't have to use high modulus.
So it doesn't have to be as strong and
correct.
Interesting.
So you can kind of go cheap.
But
how materials?
So how much? Like, let's say, give me your most narrow butt diameter on something that's pretty soft for senior players, and then what would be the biggest, and how much of a difference is it?
So you'd be looking at. So obviously this is sort of a measurement in inches. So you've got like some junior and senior, shafts for smaller hands.
Yeah.
Juniors and that sort of thing would be like 0.56. So like KBS do a 0.56 range, which is like the junior range.
Okay, and that's
for hand size, and Acra do the same with their SRT.
Yep.
And then if you get into shafts by companies like, let's go to the full extreme.
Yeah.
You remember the TaylorMade burner bubble shafts?
Yeah.
And that had that massive.
Huge.
Did you ever, when you were assistant pro, re-grip one of those?
It was a little bit before my time,
right.
Just slightly.
So those had such an incredibly large butt diameter, but it's just, again, it's all down to the materials and not being sort of very good. Now, when I had Victor on the live Instagram chat the other day, Victor from VA, we chatted about that, and he said, I will never sacrifice the material content just to get stiffness. Like, I will invest the money into putting, the T1100s or the MR70s or whatever, material that he needs to source from Japan normally is where it comes from, and the aerospace grade material onto those shafts. It purely is a way of making the shaft stiffer. That's all it really is.
So that's the ideal way of doing it.
Yeah, and that's what, with like your X7. It's not like the material in an X7 and an X1 are different.
It's true.
So how do you do it? Well, you make the butt diameter wider. That's how you stiffen it up versus an X1.
Interesting.
So that's the how they use.
So it's another variable.
Yeah.
I mean, you probably don't want somebody with all different diameters throughout the bag. Ideally,
it's not ideal, and another reason again to go to somewhere where they understand the sort of the flow of that,
and you can somewhat meld them together with grip adjustment, grip size adjustments.
Yep.
Okay, that's a good question from Adam. That's some stuff I had not thought about before. Do you want to grab one from the present?
Sure. Josh is asking, what is the Discord link?
So
Josh, I don't see. Let me see.
Where's Josh?
Let's see if he's got a little. I don't know if Josh.
So Josh, it is for YouTube members only. So you can join any tier, even the bronze. And once you do that, you get the Discord account, you just go to discord.com. It's just basically a live chat and forum type feature. And you link your YouTube account and it automatically gives you access. But yes, you do have to be a member of the TXG membership first.
Yeah.
Members only.
Members only.
I got one here from Steven.
Good pal.
Steven is asking about, so he is a left-hand dominant person playing golf right-handed. Any advice when it comes to grips so he can calm his dominant hand down? So he is a left-hand, so his top hand is the strong hand.
So he plays righty,
But he's a left-hand
so
dominant.
lead hand.
Same as me playing
Yeah.
golf lefty with a right-hand dominant hand, I guess.
Just I would say experimentation. If you do have sort of an active lead hand, I'd be just curious as to what happens. Does that cause you to pull on the handle? Does that cause you to try and sort of exert flexion onto the shaft, which adds dynamic loft? I'd just be curious about what happens. But I think a little bit of experimentation. Get a couple of grips. Go to somewhere where they can blow on some grips for you. Maybe you can get in the bay, put on some build-up tape that isn't sticky on both sides. Just is just like packing tape almost. Blow a grip on, hit a few shots, blow it off, and then almost try like standard, mid-sized, jumbo, and see what works.
I mean, there's going to be a difference. We know that.
There will be, for sure.
One of them is going to suit you quite well.
Yep. Bandit says he's got an overactive right hand.
We don't have a solution for you, Bandit. A couple new members here.
Excellent.
Chris, welcome. And I'm going to grab a little series of them. Chuck.
Smashing.
Welcome, Chuck. If I miss your new membership, accept my apologies, but I think I'm getting them all. And there's another one. Welcome. All right, go ahead.
All right.
If you got one there.
We've got Michael. Michael is playing a Nike Vaporfly 8.5.
Oh.
He's got an even flow black 6.5. 75 loves the shaft. He swings at 105 to 110. Hits it straight to a fade. Ball flight is misses right. Benefits to upgrading the head and recommendations. Yeah, Michael, that's definitely one to take a look at something else. Vaporfly. I'm trying to think if
Vaporfly.
What if Vaporfly was the black one or the blue one? I can't remember, Michael, if it was the black one or the blue. I used to play the Flex driver, the Vapor Flex. That was the black with the, remember the cartridge in it?
It's showing a
Okay,
black,
so it's
but
the
there
blue one.
is a black one that's like the tour one.
Yeah, so that's
though.
the Flex.
Oh, Flex
Yeah,
is that
that's
one.
the Flex.
Okay.
Okay, so it was the blue one.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, not a bad driver, but I mean, relative to what's out there nowadays, I really wouldn't put it in the category like, would we even carry it in the shop? Probably not.
No, if it was their 2020 driver.
Even if that was a 20 or it was called, some other brand, would it be in the drawers? Probably not.
Not up to snuff.
So I would say definitely, Michael, get out there and try some other
Love it.
Drivers.
Yep, love it. All right, from Matthew. So Matthew's looking to bend his Cobra King Forge CBs 2 degrees strong.
Okay.
Anything to be cautious of when bending a player's cavity, such as bounce, turf interaction? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
We'll be able to answer that.
You've got to be mindful that you're adding a little bit of offset. You're reducing bounce with that. So, you are going to change the turf interaction for sure.
May dig a little bit, potentially?
Yeah.
Is 2 okay? Like, anything beyond 2 is a mistake, obviously, but is 2 okay?
Yeah, it's funny. One of our VIP members, we've been kind of going back and forth because he's thinking of moving his 3 strong. Because he wants to do a blended set between T100s, CBs, and MBs.
Oh, okay.
But
Nice.
the loft progression that he wants is basically the exact loft of T100S.
Right.
So I said to him, like, I think you should just play T100S, and he's like, well, what about the CG location? Like, I like the higher CG potential in the muscle back, and
Right.
I'm like, yeah, I get it, but I think those sorts of things can be fixed with a golf ball selection.
Good point.
They can be, those are the fine tuning, tweaking parts to it. So I would go for standard turf interaction, and I think that would be.
That's why they made the S.
It really is, yeah.
Because they wouldn't have made they obviously saw, like, people love that T100, but the stronger lofted player doesn't. They don't want you bending them 3 degrees.
Definitely, that's it. That's exactly. So.
Good. All right, Jesse, new member, welcome.
Welcome, Jesse. Brent is asking. He's got an F9, Cobra F9 with a Grafloy. Grafloy white blue?
Which is it?
Grafloy white blue. Not sure what that is, Brent.
Seems like he's mostly asking about, like, the shaft weight anyway.
Grafloy white blue. Rogue black 70 -5 with Fubuki. Is the weight progression okay?
That 19 degree looks like a bit of an outlier.
64, 70. 5 wood looks like it gets light, obviously. 67 grams. Hybrid is light, and then you're kind of going a little bit. You're going in the right direction early on. 64, 70. Then you start kind of going a little too light, and then you get heavier again. So. Probably 5 wood and 19 degree hybrid potentially could be ones to look at, Brent, in terms of the weight progression. Now, bear in mind, when you look at some of the weight specs of these shafts, we talked a little bit about this the other day, like how much you cut off them.
That's right.
Plays a big part. So, that's why we always recommend working with a club builder, because they'll be able to balance these sorts of things out.
So when Mikey's trimming shaft, he takes it and physically puts it on the scale raw and goes, that's what that actually weighs.
That's it.
You need that.
Part of the fulfillment process is we measure all the raw components. It's no different from how a top chef is going to make their signature dish. Everything, when you make that signature dish, everything has to be in the right proportions in order to get it just right. And
that's right.
And that's how a builder builds.
Consistency. You need the Michelin star of club building. I got one ready if you're okay. I got a couple of quick ones, actually. Jeff said he really enjoyed your recommendation of Andrew Rice. I think that's something that a lot of people said. Andrew is really sharp.
Andrew's brilliant, and that lockdown learning series, guys, is one to head back over. I'm still looking at the numbers in disbelief at how few people are watching
I know.
The lockdown learning series, especially when we have some time while we're still in the final stages of quarantine and stuff like that. Head on over to Andrew Rice's YouTube channel and sort of handpick some of these kind of instructors to listen to. If I could give you a recommendation of a few that I think had great input, I think Scott Fawcett from Decade was really, really interesting. Decade is a strategic approach to playing the game, so ways in which you can sort of improve your course management and things like that, cut out certain weak shots in your game. Scott has a pretty unique approach. I think the one from with the Sal from Arcos.
I didn't know he had
brilliant.
done one.
Yeah,
That's
Sal
great.
was on there as well. Done a really, really good one.
Fantastic.
I think the ones from Paul Wood and Eric Henriksen were brilliant. They were one of the first ones.
The ping guys.
Yep. He done a few with Chris Como, and Como is just such a sharp guy, man. He's so smart. So
good.
I'd give those a try.
Love it. Okay. From another Matthew. Has an M1 driver, 10 degree. Fuji Pro 73S. He's got it at 44 inches. Says it's kind of hit and miss for him. He swings it, let's say, low 100s.
Yeah.
Tends to hit a bit of a fade. Guess he's asking about what he can do with that. Is he in a relatively okay window there with the driver, or is he kind of short-circuiting himself with that setup?
I tend to see a lot of people struggle when they go short with drivers.
Yeah.
I really do. I think it's a bit of a myth that by going shorter you're going to hit it better.
I can tell you it didn't make me hit it better.
No,
so.
absolutely. I think that's definitely the case. So yeah, I think you'd be just always the default. You just got to go get fit and go and find what the right head shaft combo is for you.
At least isolate that, and then if it is a technique issue, at least you know for sure. at that point that there's something you need to address?
I probably used to use club length a lot more on drivers.
Did you?
Yeah, because didn't really have the tools in order to. I mean, ultimately you do it because someone was really struggling to get solid contact, or they were a significant plane changer. So you get somebody who was sort of the inside dragger and then throw it over the top.
Yep.
Those players really generally benefited from going a little bit shorter.
Right.
But other than that, that 45-inch recommendation that we give 90% of the time works for most people.
It really seems to, doesn't it? Okay. Do you want to grab one from the present times?
I will. Troy's asking, his swing speed is 108 on track, man. He's 3 degrees up, launches it at 9, spinning at 2000. He uses a 8.5 TS3 with a Hulk. More static loft, more tip active. So I guess you're asking, like, how do you get it up in there a little bit more?
Must want a bit more height to that ball, yeah?
A static loft. Static loft is the key there, because you're in a window. I mean, you always look at how tied launch and spin are to one another, and they are tied to one another. So if I'm asking someone to raise the launch, I have to look at spin and go, what am I going to do to the spin? Do they move well together or do they move badly together? And in this case, they would move well together.
Perfect time to bump it a degree, right?
No question. And obviously that sure fit sleeve is something that you could even work within, your current driver. Just pop it up a notch. You can go up to all the way up to 10 if you wanted to.
Nice.
So
good.
You definitely have some options.
The beauty of adjustability.
Yeah.
Okay. Alex is asking if you've been practicing on mats all winter. Should you have your loft and lies checked?
You
yes.
should. You should.
Yes, you should.
Good one. Really,
120% you should.
Really like that.
I got another one here.
Okay.
From Jeff. Jeff plays C-taper stiff in his irons. What shaft for the wedges?
Plays C-taper stiff 120s.
Yep. So he uses this is a question we would have asked already, so it's good. He would have said full shots on the gap wedge, and sometimes with the 56, but never with the 60, or almost never. So sounds like he's a candidate to go gap wedge, same shaft as the irons.
Yep. You could definitely do a C-taper in the 52. You could potentially look at the C-taper in the 56 if you wanted. You could do something like a progression where you had a C-taper in the gap. You could do like you could potentially do KBS high rev in both of those. You could do a dynamic gold S200, which is sort of high 120s. Bit of a different feel, but a little bit softer. You'll feel easier to load.
Gotcha. Okay, perfect.
I'll grab one from AJ. Currently playing a G400 SF Tech with the stock 55 gram shaft. He's at 10 degrees aloft. His miss is a hook, thinking of moving to a G410 plus 9 degree. He's wondering, should he get the Alta CB55 red or the 10C CK Orange 60? Should I consider going X-Flex also? I would say it wouldn't go X-Flex at 105. I would go into the LS Tech head, AJ, because if your miss is a hook, you have the ability to sit that a little bit more open. The CG being a little bit more forward will actually help you in terms of sort of head rotation. That's a minimal one, but that's I have seen that to the case when the CG is back. It's a little bit easier to turn it over. And I would go with the CK Orange 60 stiff and the LS Tech 9 degree, the ability to sort of open that and put the weight in the toe.
Gotcha. Lovely. Simon's asking who you would recommend for a nice brand agnostic fitting in your homeland of Scotland.
Closest to what we do is Scott Gourley in Edinburgh. Scott has sort of all these kind of options of shafts. He's a really nice setup just outside the city centre at Swanston Golf Club. Lack of options in the homeland.
Is there?
Yep. It used to be over in St Andrews. there used to be a really great setup. I'm not sure if they're still there. It used to be called, I think it was called Applied Golf Technologies. Was a guy called Ed Robertson who ran that when I went there when I was a very young sort of aspiring player.
Nice. All right, I'll get this one from Sam while we're in that region. Sam is playing MP67 irons. His 7-iron is set at 36 degrees, so that's very traditional. Not surprisingly, struggling with ballooning and excess spin, losing distance.
Yeah.
He liked the MMC. What other heads compare? So obviously a lower lofted club is going to do well for him. So he probably likes a traditional look. MMC is good. What else would be good? Titleist T100 would be good.
Yeah.
Srixon maybe? Srixon 785?
Would probably be 785 for the spin, sort of killer.
Reduction, yeah.
You got to be a little bit careful as well, Sam, because if you went to something like a Strixon, you're going to go down 4 degrees in loft.
You're going to hit like 20 yards further on every iron.
Yeah, you go from 36 in the 7-iron to 32. So have a look at golf ball as well. Obviously what golf ball you play as a good sort of impact on that as well.
Yeah, lower the spin a bit. Okay.
Yeah. Gaza 351 is playing 718 AP2s in AMT black, which is fitted for, was only fit in 7-iron and have found the lighter long irons very spinny. I think just go back to, I assume you were fit, or maybe that's a bad assumption on my part. Maybe go and see a fitter and see what the reason is. Ultimately it has to come down to what's causing it. We have to understand what's causing the spin rate, and it can be a very simple solution, whether it be on a loft and lie machine or, again, golf ball we always talk about. That can be something to look at, but definitely go and establish what it is that's causing the excess spin. Because it might not be the shafts. Shafts really, one to another, don't influence spin as much as we think.
Gotcha. All right, new member Lucas. Welcome, Lucas.
Welcome, my man.
Can I grab a quick question before I go back?
Yeah, go for it.
Jonathan is asking, he has not been fit in 10 years. He wants to replace his irons, driver, and wedges. He's just basically asking, should he do a full bag fitting all at once? Something he should split up maybe over a couple days?
Jonathan, go where do what your focus is on. If your focus is on the 14 clubs and you're going to make a change, go ahead and do that. I'm not really a big fan of going through the whole process, but you're really only interested in sort of irons and that sort of thing. I think you're kind of burning money, and somewhere further down the line, like for example, if you done every one of our services individually, it would cost more than the fee to do an ultimate bag fit. Yes. But we never, like say you did do those individually, we would never charge you that amount, if that makes sense. Like
over the period of time.
We never charge you more than the ultimate bag. So if you do the irons, then the driver, then the fairwoods, you're going to hit an excess point of, like, if it's $400 for the full bag, we're never going to charge you more than $400 to do all of that. Yeah. So there is no monetary advantage to doing it all at once just because you get a discount.
True enough.
I never want people to think about it that way. I want it to be about, where's their focus.
Yeah, so if they've committed to it and they've bought the full bag, if they want to come back and finish, they don't want to make 300 swings in a day, they can do that.
Definitely.
Good. I'll take one more from here, if that's all right. Jared is asking, why does his MD4 S grind with 10 degrees of bounce feel like way less bounce than his milled grind wedge with 9 degrees of bounce and a C grind? So I'm assuming that's a grind question. Probably the way the grind allows the club to sit on the turf. Maybe that's what it is?
Yeah.
The leading edge sits at a different height?
A bounce our bounce measurement can be different with different companies, because some companies measure the bounce number. Some people use effective bounce as the measurement. So everyone does it obviously slightly differently. So I would say, getting comfortable with with a bounce number is never the solution. It's a bit like what you talk about with loft, you know.
True.
When you play a driver, a 9-degree driver, and you go ahead and you pick another driver, but the CG is in a different location, that 9 degree is no longer the same 9 degree. That static measurement of 9 degrees of loft is not the same deal. You know, the CG location, it's a dynamic it's a dynamic motion that we make. So, and the golf swing works that way, and loft works that way.
That's pretty interesting. Yeah, so don't take bounce necessarily at face value.
No, you can't. You can't just trust because you've been in that number once that, and you know, it's
really
going to be good forever.
And I guess unless you stay, like if you're going Vokey SM6 to SM8, it's the same grind and bounce, then you're probably fine,
If it's
right?
measured within the same company, yes,
Yeah, it should be good. Okay, good. All right, go for one.
Okay.
If you work bottom straight up, we'll meet in the middle.
Love that.
If that's good.
Okay. Ron is asking, he's lost some swing speed due to an injury. He's now at 70 miles an hour, losing distance. He's currently playing Cobra F9, PLZ, 60120. I guess that's maybe Project X6. Yeah, Project X LZ6. Should I change to a lighter shaft, maybe 5.5 or maybe a regular shaft? Ron, honestly, 6.0, 5.5, 5.0, all too heavy. At 70 miles an hour, all are too heavy, and you need to relieve a little bit of that burden. You know, obviously, speed is one of the major things that is going to sort of give you launch and sort of create energy in the golf ball. We have to give you the ability to create a little bit more speed. So I think into something like potentially into the Nippon NS Pro Series, if you want to stay in steel, that might be something worth trying. You know, a few other shafts that are in that nice lightweight steel category, maybe 85 to 95 range, would be something definitely worth trying.
Nice. Okay, from Josh. Josh is asking basically what your process is for finding the correct swing weight for someone. And how does swing weight progress throughout a set? So from wedges to driver, is it getting lighter? Is it getting heavier? Kind of give us your basic rundown of swing weight.
Definitely. So in terms of finding the right one for someone, I'm never really that focused on swing weight. I'm never chasing a swing weight.
Unless, so you've said it a lot of times to me, like if there's components due to someone being taller, shorter, then you really pay attention to make sure the swing weight isn't getting wrecked.
Correct.
But you're not going, I need you to be D2.5 or you're going to suck at golf.
Exactly. Yeah. There's a window at which we know it's acceptable.
Gotcha.
So that's exactly right. If we know that there's going to be a build that's an inch over length, and the player wants to play Miura irons and X7 shafts, we'll pretty much go, that's a disaster.
Yeah, it's going to turn out bad.
That's going to turn out bad unless you are a physical specimen, you know, and you're able to, you know, really manage the weight of that club. I mean, someone like Bandit could probably handle that, but you know, other than that, then you need to be a really strong guy.
Someone who's just a burly gentleman.
Just a really strong specimen, just a hulk of a man. But yeah, that's kind of how we deal with that. And I think there was a part.
Just asking how it progresses through a set.
So generally lighter. I mean, you would say lighter to heavier, but you know, I would say that's not so much the case anymore. You will see a progression if you ever go onto Mike TXG. Go out to Mike's Instagram. He's done a great job recently of showing specs of his builds.
Specs. Love them.
And you can see when he's on that, there's like a progression of maybe a swing weight to a swing weight and a half from the longest iron up to the wedges.
Yeah.
So yeah, head over to Mikey's Instagram page, Mike TXG, and you'll see how he does that.
Yeah, we actually just reposted one. He said just
good,
built a Callaway set, which is a perfect example.
Nice, wasn't it, with the MMTs?
Really nice set. Head weights and everything were on there too.
Yeah,
the blades to the cavity. I think a lot of people love the look
You know
of
what? I think that's what I love about that is its full transparency.
That's exactly what that person got.
Here's the head weights. Here's the, you know, and he tells me all the time. Like, we built a set for one of our new customers down in New York. Michael, and he said it was the best set of components he'd ever built with. Just in terms of like the tolerances were just perfect. Like he didn't have to touch them.
Didn't have to play with it.
Yeah, the shaft weights were perfect, the grip weights were perfect, the head weights were perfect, and when he assembled them, they just were a perfect set.
That's great.
And that's I'll be honest again and transparent, that's rare. That's rare that those components are. Now, obviously we hand pick what's on our wall because we're trying to get the components that are in that zone the most often.
Yes.
But we have to send some product back at times, and we have no problem in doing that.
Yeah.
If there's a batch of shafts that are not going well, you know, our vendors know that we're sending them back.
Yeah, and that's why it makes sense to have stuff built here, because your peace of mind at the end of it is you know that nothing is getting put in the box for you that wasn't the way it's supposed to be. Absolutely. Were you looking up those Yonex irons?
I was.
I just see that for David.
Yeah, N1 MBs.
Are they brand new?
I've seen them before.
Okay.
It's a decent looking iron. You know, there's a little bit of a sort of almost like a sneaky cavity
you know
in
what those
there.
look like S57s or something.
Yeah, it's a good looking. It's a really good. We're looking at this sort of.
We didn't get a chance to visit the Yonex booth at the show. I know they were on the range, but
yeah,
that's kind of cool.
Really nice. You know, I've got a soft spot for Yonex because I used to always play their rackets.
That's right. Yeah, actually, I had a Yonex racket when I was a kid too.
But their stuff is good. A few friends of mine, they're not very big in Canada. We've never heard from a Yonex rep over here.
No.
Not big in North America.
They barely sell them even at Golf Town, actually.
Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. They're bigger in the UK. They actually do a little bit of volume in the UK. I know a few accounts, friends of mine, that have component accounts with them.
Very cool.
Yep.
One more from back here. Caleb's asking about how lie angle impacts lower lofted clubs. So obviously he's understanding a high lofted club, the lie angle is a huge deal. How much of a factor do you see it being in like a 3-wood, a driver, or even a hybrid?
You know, definitely less. Definitely less. Now, that doesn't mean though that it has less of an impact because we're less likely to tilt the loft up or down. But what we do tend to see is a very different swing with a 4-iron than with a pitching wedge. Much more force required. You know, that generally will lift the handle a little bit more. So it is important that you treat every single iron, you know, with sort of thought and consideration.
Gotcha. I'm just putting a note up, guys. The question volume is good today. It's very busy, but I don't want to have you put a question in and miss it. So please hold off until Monday. If you have not put one in yet, hang on to it till Monday.
Okay, I'm going to jump in here. Daniel's
Please.
got I guess that's a Unifit, probably unit fit. That's probably Unifit from Club Connects.
Oh, okay, yeah. I didn't know people could buy those.
Yeah, consumers can buy them.
Just go pop on their website and buy them. That's new to me.
Yep.
For the ultimate tinkerer.
Oh, for sure. So Daniel got a Unifit, attached it to his shafts, and now his ST190 with a hazardous yellow is weighing at E2 swing weight.
Yikes.
I would check your scale, Daniel. It's not that heavy. We obviously, I can tell you exactly right now how the exact weight of that.
An ST?
No, just the pieces, the components on that. I think.
Sorry, go ahead. Unifits don't weigh anything, do they?
No, they weigh next. So that's one of the benefits of Unifit is there's very minimal additional weight. That's why I'm concerned about your. So maybe measure your components. So here's the Mizuno little kit is here. Here's the little piece if you guys can see it.
Yep, I should be able to.
Actually hasn't even registered. 3 grams. So that's 3. The screw is. So with the screw. Oops.
But I mean, there's a screw regardless. I mean, like. The screw is an additional.
The screw is in there whether you use that or not. So that's 5 plus the piece on this. So you're looking at about 8 or 9 grams. I mean that's one of the lighter. The Callaway and the Titleist tips are or that's a little bit heavier.
So it wouldn't make any sense that his swing weight got heavier.
No, that's not the reason for that. Basically, is what I'm getting at, especially with a hazardous yellow, which is high balance point as well. So there's something not quite right there.
Maybe just pop into a shop and have them weigh it for him.
Have somebody have a look at what's going on there. Maybe unscrew the head and weigh the head itself.
Gotcha. Okay. Drake is asking. He's got a G410 5-wood, 16 degree. So its standard is 17.5.
Yep, G410.
He's asking if that makes it flat. I would assume unless you set it on flat.
No, it needs to be on those flat settings to play flat.
Yeah, so if he went big minus, which is I'm assuming what he did,
Correct.
big minus doesn't go flat. You have to go -1 flat.
Yeah.
So no, Drake, that is
not flat. So you could go 16.5 and have it flat, but not 16.
16, fair enough. Okay, I'm gonna grab one from the present.
Matthew is gaming Morris 120X in the iron, same as myself. He's happy with them and wants to play them in the wedges too, the wedge shaft in all three, or do you recommend I soft step? I like a soft step progression. I think it makes a lot of sense. I think if you went, you could soft step, you could double soft step in the lob wedge. So you could go pitch and wedge has a wedge shaft, gap wedge has a wedge shaft, sand wedge has a 9-iron shaft, lob wedge has an 8-iron shaft. I think that's a really nice progression for lots of people.
Gotcha. Ian is asking about Arcos, game golf, or shot scope.
Arcos, no question.
We're
just the easiest answer. You know, the data and how they're using it, the platform that they are building to use that.
It's pretty outrageously good.
I mean,
we just saw the back end of it the other day.
I know. So like you and Mikey have had I'm being kept in the dark, which I think is actually really cool that the guys are going to kind of present that. But
yeah, you'll be impressed with what the back end looks like.
Can't wait.
It's not exactly a spoiler, most of you know, but Arcos will be the official kind of on-course data club fitting tool of TXG.
Yeah.
Announcement coming soon.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
Chris,
sorry,
go ahead.
Chris here. I think we've a couple of supers to grab.
Yeah, I'll work my way down.
Currently gaming G400 9 degree with the Kurakage XT60X. I like that combo. He has an opportunity to buy a nearly new 410 with a. How similar is the XT to the Ping Tour? Not that similar is the answer. Both good shafts in their own right, but not. You wouldn't sort of say that they are similar. A Kurakage XT is a unique shaft with that sort of tine nickel and the full length of the shaft, and you know the sort of stability that gives the shaft. But they've raised the torque in order to kind of give it lots of feel.
Such a good shaft.
Such a good shaft. I'm a huge. I always think every time I change driver, I'm like, I'm going to play a Kurakage this time, and I never end up doing it. But I always say to myself that I'm going to.
Still a current model, that thing?
They now have, what do they have now? So XT, then they'd XD. I think there is a new version of it. Yeah.
Quickly from our pal Austin. Austin's asking about ball position for a fairway wood. Mm-hmm. Would you move your ball position if the fairway wood was off the tee or off the deck? Would you bump it back a shade?
It's a video for today.
I know. Oh, you want to do ball position today?
Yeah.
Okay, Austin, we'll do it today.
So, remember that 3D model? Remember that?
Yeah, that's right.
So we need to get into that because again, like people get so much value out of that tee height video.
Yes.
Like we have to start explaining a lot of these sorts of things with regards to like, if you move ball position, what are the implications on strike point, angle attack, path, face?
It's a great idea. I love that the tee height video was the simplest of topics. Yeah. In fact, one of our viewers who is like a very avid watcher said, I kind of almost didn't watch it because I figured it was sort of a basics, maybe not for me. And he watched it, he was like, well, that was a lot more than tee height. Like that was pretty depth.
I think I saw that comment as well. Like,
and I read that, I was like, that's great. I love seeing that because it's like delivering more than people expected as what I hope we're doing on a regular basis.
It's probably one of those topics that you might have said, and this is genuinely no disrespect to any other channel, but it's probably one of those topics that gets discussed on some other platforms, but maybe they just don't dive into the real weeds and dive into the detail, maybe kind of like what we did in that one.
More variables is what I would say. We address more variables in that.
A lot of variables, and also I don't believe that any other channel has a tester who can move it around.
I answered in the comments a few times. I have to admit, that was pretty damn lucky. Like the sequence where it went low, middle, high,
I know.
I mean, like I wasn't trying to do it. It just, but I love that. You can tell we were in a good mood with that video because it took like 15 shots to do the whole thing.
Well, actually, one thing when I was talking to April there, you know, she's got such a keen eye. She's like, I could spot the edit. I could spot there was no edit between
certain shots.
Certain shots. Like, you know, she was saying like that was in proper sequence. That it's not like you guys had to hit 40 shots to get that strike, and then deleted the ones in order to show that it was 1, 2, 3, and
it was definitely
it was
concise.
clean. Yeah,
I mean, the shot counter is always there. If anyone's ever curious if something's bang, 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 we don't edit the shot counter out. If you want to see it, it's there.
Very true.
All right. Grab from there.
Yep, Barrett is asking, he swings a 7-iron around 86 to 88, but he prefers the feel of and was fit to a lighter shaft.
Okay.
What could be going on in my swing to cause that?
90 grams is pretty light, eh? For a...
Yeah, it weighs out about 100 grams. It's a fractionally heavier shaft. It's actually a shaft that was designed to compete against the NS Pro 950.
Okay.
The NS Pro 950 being the shaft that was most commonly played on the LPGA Tour. So Kim designed one that he felt would be a real kind of competitor.
That's a great little tidbit, that is.
A little bit of a lower flight. It's a bit stiffer in the tip, and it's a little bit tighter in dispersion on their testing. So
it plays a bit heavier than the 90, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, but it just comes down to, like we always say with shafts, it just comes down to it fits your timing.
Yeah.
That's just it fits a window for you that allows you to time, you know, the golf club appropriately, regardless of your speed. I mean, I've seen things like this in the past before 86 to 88, and someone uses a really light product. I've seen people swing at 81 miles an hour and use 130 gram S300.
Yep.
Use a heavy product. It's just, if that fits your window, we're okay with that.
Yeah, swing speed isn't enough of a, it's not everything, I guess, right?
Yeah.
That's one component of the fit. Okay, Joey is asking about basically sort of your optimization charts out there, like launch and spin formulas for maximum distance. TrackMan has their sort of, I think they call it TrackMan Optimizer.
TrackMan Optimizer.
I think you can Google TrackMan optimization chart, Joey, and it will tell you. It does tell you angle of attacks too, doesn't it?
It does. It does. It shows you the difference between if you're 5 down, neutral, or 5 up, and it also shows you at different speeds. You can also see one for carry and total. Right. So you can get one that optimizes how far it goes in total, which tends to be a little bit less on carry.
So if you play a firmer course, that's probably your better option. Great. Yeah, Joey, that's the one for you. That is really, really, really good.
Steve is asking, Ian, you mentioned hating the Tensei Pro Orange. What issues were you having? I can't seem to control the strike or feel of where the club face is during the swing. Hitting it all over the heel. Any good replacements? That was my problem, Steve. It was just I couldn't do anything but just hit it low in the head. You remember when I gave you Drago during the Big Bertha Alpha Fit?
Yeah, hit everything low.
And you hit everything low, and we were looking at each other like, wow, that's really different. And the next shaft we gave you was the Fuji Pro 2.0, and it was perfect. Just a bit like that, Stephen. I just couldn't control, or I didn't have any awareness of where the head was. But that's me coming out of a Tensei white and into an orange. And to be honest, I added a little bit of lead tape to try and kind of offset the amount of counterbalance that the orange offers. But I didn't want to load the head up too much because I was really in a comfortable driver form at that time. So I changed it a little bit. Some good recommendations would be just to go in that direction, go towards the sort of lower balance point stuff, like, you know, Tensei white, that sort of thing would be really, really good for you. I mean, assuming if you're even looking at the Pro Orange, you've got a bunch of speed. Yeah. The 113, sorry, right at the bottom. So yeah, you're in that kind of 65 to 70 gram X-Flex range anyway. So yeah, there's a ton of good stuff out there.
Maybe a little Ventus action?
Ventus, you could get into a little hazardous smoke black, tons of stuff.
Love it.
Tons of good stuff.
Okay, I will do some from
one.
Catch Up. I did just float the please hold off message a second ago.
There's one super we haven't got yet, because we got David's, didn't we?
There's going to be more. Yeah. But grab that one.
Okay.
Grab that one.
Drew is asking, can a high handicapper like a 20 play P790s or a Cobra Force Tech? I feel like my swing is better than my handicap and love the look of the P790s. Yeah, I think it's a good question, Drew. I mean, the handicap is a reflection of your overall game, not just the way you hit your irons. So I think the answer is yes to that. I think you can play those irons and get good benefits from it for sure.
Gotcha. Okay. Gaza was fit into, he was playing 718.
We got that one.
Oh, you did?
Yep,
perfect.
got that one.
Okay, so now I know where I am. Good.
Right. Ryan is in. What do you all think of the stock wedge shafts in the SM8? I think they're great. Voki's done some significant testing on a wide range of shafts. It's something that we spoke to them about at the PGA show and at Oceanside. I think the shaft that is in that is good for a really wide variety of players. So
good.
No problem with that at all.
Austin's asking if we can get to 75,000 subscribers by the end of the month. Not impossible.
Where are we at right now?
Just under 71.
Okay.
Yesterday was a really good day for subscribers. Probably the most we've ever had in a day in months.
Was it really?
From the T-Hype video, yeah.
I'm going to get on my soapbox though. I went looking at the analytics last night.
Aye.
42% of people who watch our videos aren't subscribers.
I know. It's a lot better than it used to be. You know what it used to be? 51%.
Really?
We've improved that 10% over the years.
What is going on with that?
Who are you people? Subscribe.
Absolutely.
If all of you did it right now, that number would be over 100.
That was shocking to me that 42% of people who watch our videos do not subscribe to the channel.
Crazy, eh? I know. We're glad you watched, though.
We're very glad.
Don't get us wrong. We're glad you watched. From our pal Joe. Joe was asking about your favorite, your beloved DI Hybrido shaft. Yeah. So he's basically saying, what is so good about that thing? Why is it so good for so many players? And also, it's not exactly new.
No.
So what do you think why has that stood the test of time so well?
I think it's a balance of a bunch of different things. It's stable. It feels good. I think getting that blend is really, really tough. I mean, DI stands for deep impact. So
is it?
yeah,
Is that what it is?
So that's it's a sort of reference to sort of the way they kind of layered that shaft, and it's designed to feel really, really, really good. And shafts are popularized by really the heads that are in vogue at that point.
True.
So at a certain time, the Graphloid Blue was a great option because the heads were evolving into being bigger and they needed more stability. The Graphloid Blue had a sort of a really wide mid to butt section, had micro mesh in the tip section. So again, it was really designed for sort of this evolving higher speed. And then obviously they took that to the next level by adding better materials and different processes and things like that. So
it's just a beauty, isn't it?
It currently works for the way equipment is being made, as I say, and it has that nice blend of stability but great feel.
Love it. Good. All right. Steven is asking about super speed training. So he's just going to get a set now. He's really good question here. So how much clubhead speed would you need to gain through something like that before you need to refit for driver and or irons?
It's currently 104 to 106, even flow white. Stephen, at the end of that, if you do the full super speed train, you will need to be refit because you'll went from 104 to 106. You'll probably go up, I would imagine, to about 112 to 114.
Just based on the average gain,
based on the average gain of what we see. And you'll end up out of stiff flex and probably an X flex. Now, the one thing you want to see is once you taper off, what is the effect of tapering off? Like, is it like blowing up a balloon? Like, we always kind of say, super speed can be something where it inflates your ability to generate speed, and as you stop doing it, it sort of
Goes back
decreases
again.
back down. But obviously what you're looking to try and do is get it to increase, come down, increase, come down.
Yep.
So you kind of, as you gradually do it and keep doing it, it keeps pushing your baseline up, and it shifts that along, and that's where you ultimately own the speed and don't just borrow it for a period of time.
Gotcha. So we're coming up on an hour here, guys. Just, I see a few more super chats come in.
Hold the super
Just
chats,
hang on
guys,
to-
because we don't want to miss those.
Yeah, hang on to questions in general. Save them for Monday. We'll be live again on Monday.
We will.
But let's keep going for a little bit longer. Why don't you just grab them really
Grab
quick?
those at the bottom.
Yeah,
I'll
because
grab.
I'm still in the middle here.
Rich is a 13 handicapper. He's playing a 10.5 adjusted to 11.25 stock Diamana. I guess that's a TaylorMade.
Yeah, high and spinny.
Yeah. Stock Diamana, getting high trajectory. It seems spinny. Can the new shaft lower the trajectory? I mean, assume, Rich, you have increased the loft more for face angle than obviously for loft. I think if you try to do the same thing with a 9-degree head and played it a little bit on the shut side, you know, if you, or maybe you're playing an M5 or an M6 or a Sim or a Sim Max or something like that, let us know what head you're playing, but definitely start, if you need to play it with a slightly closed face, start with less loft.
Yep, less loft will be your friend.
Don't look to the shaft.
Yeah,
to do
don't
it.
waste your money on the shaft for that particular thing. Okay. Someone currently gaming a...
Rich is playing the Sim. Yeah.
Oh, perfect. So lower
yeah.
loft and then back.
So head over to a demo day whenever you see there is one out there, Rich, and just pop your shaft on a 9, put it in the same one click closed, and move the weight into the heel slightly.
Good idea.
That certainly would help. Or even you put your driver on upright, get it back to 10.5, put it to upright, put the weight in the heel, see if tilting the head up and the weight in the heel will tilt the face enough left that you can get the same effect without having to loft up the driver.
That's a great idea. Potentially hang on to that driver.
Yeah.
Okay. F9 with hazardous smoke in stiff. Players missing with a hooky draw. What would be your recommendations for someone hitting hooks?
Smoke stuff. This is a hooky draw. Any better shafts or more suitable driver? Well, we always talk about drivers that have that adjustability toe to heel and being able to influence rotation and where the mass is occurring. I'd be very curious as to, is it strike related? Is it face to path related? Is it both? So that's the challenge there, is knowing what's causing the hook.
Gotcha.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be some other drivers you're going to want to go and try. You know, if someone is struggling with the sort of toe hook, that's where something like a Sim, anything really with twist face, with lateral weight as well,
true enough.
is really, really good to offset that.
Perfect. Okay, this is a bit of a labyrinth of specs, so let's do our best here. Maybe you can read it at the same time. So it looks like a G400 SFT, which is draw bias, but it's been opened up a bit, so kind of somewhat more neutral. Mitsubishi C6 red. Seems like a lot of club head speed for that shaft, yeah? 110 miles an hour.
Yeah.
High launch, a little bit low spin, or too high spin.
Wow.
Lots going on there.
Lots of leakage there. Well, for a start, the shaft's too soft. You're getting a real. Pop that one back up a wee sec, Matty boy. Just disappeared.
Coming.
Yeah,
There you go.
Yeah, you need to get refit, Craig. That's definitely left the window of sort of acceptable. 233 carry is no good for you, my man.
260 at least, with that much ball speed?
At least. You know, 110 is good. I've heard some good things about those Mevos. I read
Mevo Plus.
Mevo Plus.
Yep.
I don't know his name. This is terrible. I hate referencing someone that I can't remember his name, but one of the UK sites, The Average Golfer.
Yeah, I confess I don't know his first name either.
Yeah.
I just know him as the average golfer.
Average Golfer. He tested it and he said he saw some really good results, and the software looked pretty good and that sort of thing. So That looked like a good one for us to review. Definitely, we're trying to get a hold of someone at FlightScope. I have a contact who is sort of close with the guys at FlightScope. So trying to do that.
Good. Yeah, we'll try to take that outside with us this summer. New member, Adam. Welcome, Adam.
Welcome, Adam, my man. Welcome, my man.
All right, from Mr. Ortega.
Mm-hmm.
5 hybrid experiment. Okay.
Yep.
38 inches, 24 degrees aloft, Acrotese 595 gram.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, setup or different shaft to try.
I like it, Rog. I think that's good.
That's a nice kind of blend of,
Yeah.
got some loft on there, stable shaft.
Yeah, I think obviously cutting it that short, Rog, the only thing I'd be mindful of, bud, is it'll play pretty stiff. That's one thing you will need to sort of obviously.
But if the pattern's good,
realize. Then I like the experiment. I'm loving it. I love those types of things. But let me know. Shoot me an email, Roger. You've got my email. Let me know how it goes.
Lovely. You got the stock wedge shaft there.
Yep.
Good.
John Michael is asking, hey guys, I switched from Project X6, so hard stepped into C-Taper S Plus. The balance point feels off. I can't feel the handle. Switch back to Project X. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing with shafts. It's, that timing, those shafts would be used sort of probably in the same type of fit, purely because, we would see a player with speed trying to get control of their ball flight, etc. But obviously, you're really struggling with that one. So I would switch back to Project X. It's interesting that you have went heavier, but you have lost the feel. So very, very interesting stuff. But yeah, stick to your Project X if that was working.
Gotcha. I think we're up to date on supers. So why don't we do a little speed round of current questions. So if you have a question right now, we will try to grab a few of the current ones before we sign off and start filming for the day. So fire a couple in. We'll grab 3 or 4 and then we'll head out.
Average golfer is Andy. Good stuff.
Andy,
Perfect.
that's right.
Andy.
Andy.
Well, Andy done a nice job with that video.
The Mevo. Yeah, good. Nice.
Lots of chatter about the guys saying they're going to catch each other on Discord.
Good. Yeah.
Good.
Move on over.
Good to see that.
All the emojis are on Discord too, just so you know.
Treat yourself.
Treat yourself to some emojis.
Adam's asking potential downfall of the following build: TS3 with a XC6TX. I don't see any downside to it.
It's a nice little combo, isn't it?
Yeah, I think those two would marry up really nicely together. No issues. Good head, good shaft. Make sure it's built well. Good to go.
Love it. Yeah, lots of people chatting about the PXG discounts recently. I would say if you want to get a PXG, there's never been a better time. That's
never been a better time.
Yeah, cheaper than ever.
I think they may have found their price sweet spot.
It seems that way. They're definitely going to have to reevaluate because I know that they wanted to go super premium, tiny volume, but I bet with the amount of people that have made the leap now that it's a bit in more reasonable price, they may look at that business model and go, kind of rather see more people using the clubs than less.
There's a lot of online retailers. I know Eric at New Level has found the same thing, that as he has discounted some of his product, which, I mean, looking at it, he's discounted his product, so obviously there's his margin, what he buys at, then what he sells at wholesale, and then what he sells at retail, so he's kind of finding that if he sells it into the market at what he sells it to us at wholesale, that's a better price point for his business, and that leads to more sales. Good. I mean,
it's just a different way of doing it, right?
Go for it. I mean, someone like that, Eric, we consider to be a friend, and if that's good for his business model, then fully support it. Still endorse the product. It's definitely, it's good product. It's he's working hard at his business, so good for him.
Love it.
Mike Wood is asking favorite drills for when working on strike.
Saw a few of those.
Dr. Scholl's spray. That's the key. Get the Dr. Scholl's out, and I actually forgot to reference that. Wish I had referenced that in the T-height video.
I actually think that, speaking of drills, Andrew Rice just posted one. It was either Andrew or
Andrew done one driver. He said if you're smashing the heel of the driver.
This is the one right there, right?
Yes. Yeah. So if you're hitting the heel of the driver, put a sleeve of golf balls.
That's the one. Andrew Rice,
yeah.
Instagram.
So basically what it stops is, it stops the kind of the club. You basically hit the sleeve of golf balls.
Yeah, if you're going to hit the
if you're going to hit the heel. So it kind of gets you focused on being centered to toe. So Andrew's got great tips like that sort of stuff. You know, go and find that in his Instagram, guys. It's good. Just
good.
Andrew's one to pay attention to.
This is nice from Gareth. Very nice, Gareth. Thank you for that. I'm sure the Canadian Armed Forces would very much appreciate that.
Absolutely, definitely. Favorite glove? What do you like?
G4. G4 gloves.
Really good, aren't they?
Here's one right here. G4. Oof.
Really good. When I was playing, I always really enjoyed a player's glove.
Titleist
Players
They make
glove.
a damn good glove too. They really
And then
do.
I think, to be honest, probably the best glove I've ever put my hand into is the FootJoy Pure Touch. I think it's
They're like
called.
crazy high-end one.
That one's like, it's kind of like hand cut and stuff.
I did
like
have
that,
one.
and
It's wild. It's a
so
wild
nice.
scene. It's a wild
It's a
scene.
treat.
It is.
It
A
is
treat for your hands.
I know.
All right. What do you think?
Yeah, let's get the day going.
Good. Lots of members saying they're going over to Discord to chat.
Love it.
Good. Try to pop in on our lunch break if I can, but enjoy.
Love it.
Enjoy the chat.
That's nice. Roger's saying he caught some of the lockdown learning. He says it's been great to watch, and Ian's was my favourite of the tenor. So thank you, my man. Roger, you're too kind, and I can't wait to see you, pal. I know you were looking at coming this summer, so if hopefully if they lift the sort of restrictions on the travel, we'll hopefully see you in the back end of the year, pal.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's get to filming, shall we?
Scott's asking, and Scott is a member. Where's the link
Scott.
to Discord?
Okay, Scott. So Scott, what you're gonna do is make yourself a Discord account. You can
Download. And you have to download the app.
It is an app. I would do it on your desktop first.
Yeah.
So if you have a laptop or something, get a Discord account. What?
Roger's saying he was supposed to be here today.
Oh, that's a heartbreaker.
Oh.
Yeah, Scott. So make a Discord account. Go into the settings on Discord, click connections, link your YouTube account, and then within, I think, an hour at most, you'll have an automatic access to the members only section on Discord. I would do it on the laptop first, though, because I'm hearing the app is good, but sign up on the computer. And
There's the tip from Matty Boy. Do it
if you have
on,
problems.
do it on the laptop.
Yeah.
No thumbs down today, apparently.
Oh, we better get off quick. Oh, there's one there.
Oh, yeah,
no.
Someone done it and then took it away.
Dirty dogs.
Well, that deserves an air horn as we exit.
Okay. Thanks for joining us.
Okay, guys. Have a good one. See you Monday.
See you guys Monday.